Hey, what's up guys? Little Luigi here. I'm going to be starting a game/competition called STeller. STeller stands for storyteller. See what I did there? That's so smart. So in STeller, the host, which will be me, I'll give a topic, and the contestants will have to tell a story about that topic, sentence by sentence. For example, if the topic was school, one of the contestants could give me a starting sentence like, I was walking to school in a snowstorm, and another contestant would give a second sentence like, while I was walking, I was attacked by a Yeti or something. And the contestant after that would keep the story going and say like, I don't know, I fought the Yeti while I was walking to school. And the viewers and also the contestants would vote on which one they hate the most and which one they hate the second most. Then I'd add the votes up and eliminate the one that was most hated. And I repeat the process until we have one winner. Hey, what's up guys? Little Luigi here, and welcome to the first official STeller episode. The topic for the first ever round of STeller, I decided it would be time travel because I thought people could make a good story out of it. Here are the contestants for the first season, if there's even going to be another season of STeller. We got, I don't know how do you pronounce this, Kermaniel H. Cragsley. I'm just going to act like I pronounced that right. Hey, I'm Luna. I'm Chuck. Logan the Narwhal. Level 100 Hankster Prankster. Max Fectiu. I don't know. We got Anolga, the Weave Snatcher. Brandon Butter. CG3K. Magical Miles. And Percival Von Dragon. Those are the 13 contestants. Anyway, to remind you guys how to vote, you vote for the one you hate, the sentence that you hate the second most, and the sentence that you hate the most. You want to look at it as like an entire story with a beginning, middle, and end, and possibly a plot. I don't think this story really has one though. Without further ado, here's the first story of STeller. Hey, what's up guys? Little Luigi here. Welcome back to another video. This is STeller episode 1.2. The results are in. There's 8 votes in total. I guess I wasn't expecting that much. Anyways, there are 5 winners in total that didn't get voted at all. What you're gonna see is there's gonna be hate points, which is based on if you're voted most hated or second most hated. Here's the winners for this round of STeller. Good job, Dragonfire, Max Fecto, Kermaniel, Butter, and Sold Snake 123 for not getting any hate points. And also congratulations to Angel /Angle. I'm Chuck, Logan the Gnarl, and CG3K for only getting 1 second most hate point. And the rest of you got either one most hated point. If you were ranked third to last, that means they hated your sentence the most. Sorry guys. You need to try better next time, unless you're Hey, I'm Luna, who got the most amount of votes, and they were all most hated votes. 6 of them, 6 out of the 8 people voted Hey, I'm Luna for most hated, which is most likely because you said he fricked me with a toothbrush, which had nothing to do with the story and threw the entire story off track and made absolutely no sense, and was a family-friendly PG clean for Little Luigi family-friendly PG clean content. So sorry that you're eliminated out of the game, but the voters decided that you need to be eliminated. So next time, if you say something that isn't related to the story, I will warn you that you shouldn't do that, and I'll try to make sure you change your sentence. But if you really don't want to change your sentence and make the story go off track, you can. But you'll most likely be eliminated because people hate that. As you can see, things that relate to the story mostly and aren't really as memey, even though Sold Snake was kind of memey. You kind of want to stick to the storyline. That's just all I want to say. And be cool like these winners because they get a prize. And that prize is
poison.
Well, not really poison, but basically what poison does is you can put it on another contestant and that contestant has to make their sentence 20 words or less. The next prompt is going to be space, so make your sentences / story about space this time. Okay, contestants? There will be 11 sentences this time because someone got eliminated from for not giving a sentence in time. So I gave them around 2 to 4 days, and they didn't answer, and then I gave them a second chance, and I still didn't get a response for them. So they were eliminated. I tried my best to keep them alive, but I'm sorry, they were eliminated. This story didn't go off track like last time. I think we can all agree it's way better, especially with less people because you can read it better. So last episode I said that we would be doing a Google form for voting. Well, I actually lied, so we're going to still use the comments, but you have to comment in a different format and rank it 1 through 11. So rank one sentence number 1, another sentence number 2, all the way down to 11. There should be something on the screen that shows a comment that is right. This will make voting more accurate, and it also gives more data. 5 people won poison last round, and only 3 people used it actually. So let's see if you guys can figure out who was poisoned and who wasn't. Anyway, here is the story. I'll read it to you this time. While on my space station, I noticed outside of the window a huge ton of rocks heading towards the space station. I tried to get an escape pod, but it was too late. I noticed the space rocks seemed to be metallic and looked like spaceships. All of a sudden, a ship flew above the rest. A disco ball descended from it, and it became clear what I had to do. It was time to do the spaceship slide. After doing the spaceship slide for what felt like light years, the captain of one of the ships warped into mine. The boarding doors opened, and the captain that crashed had been Darth Vader. Darth Vader had his lightsaber when suddenly he threw it at me. I immediately grabbed my friend Luna and used her as a human shield. Luna was cut down in an abhorrent splay of gruesome gore as I searched for a weapon. Not wanting to join the disgusting pile of meat, I quickly grabbed a bloody metal pipe laying on the ground. Suddenly, I quickly turned just to see the cruel Darth Vader standing before me, caught in a state of fear. I had nearly fallen down through the void the moment he opened that mouth of his, saying, "Billy, I am your father." Quite confused as to who Billy was, I came to the conclusion that Lord Vader must have been looking for someone else, so I decided to run for it, before tripping on a misplaced toothbrush. Damn it, Luna. After getting back up, I decided to leave, and after searching long and wide, I found an old rocket, but turns out it broke down whilst flying away, so now I'm stuck on Mars. Great. Jeez, that took way longer to read than it should have. Hey, what's up guys, Little Luigi here. Welcome to TWOW. Welcome to TWOW. I can't believe I said that. Hey, what's up guys, Little Luigi here, and welcome to STeller episode 2.2, where I show you the results for episode 2.1. We only had 8 votes this time, with 4 of those votes being the contestants and 4 of those votes being non-contestants, viewers. So, contestants, remember, if you vote, you can vote yours pretty high, which gives you a better chance of winning. So do it! I mean, you don't have to, but, please, I need more votes. Anyway, since, I changed the way you vote and changed it to a ranking system, all of the votes got sent into my spam comment, likely spam folder or whatever. So I'm gonna have to change up the voting again, and you'll see that next episode. But for now, we have better results. I have a standard deviation now because the ranking system. Anyway, what's standard deviation means is the higher the standard deviation, the more controversial the response was. So like, if a sentence got 1 first place and 1 last place, that'd be controversial. But if a sentence got like 2 first place and like 4 second place, and that'd be less controversial because people like agree on the same rank. And also, one of the contestants made a sentence that technically was two sentences, but just without punctuation. So they got a penalty of minus 1.5 percentage. Anyway, I'm going to change up how I show results this time. We're going to do the winner first and then go down to the eliminated contestants. Is that fine with you guys? Okay, let's show these results. So, the winner of this round of STeller, where the topic was space, with the percent of sentences, the sentence was better than being 75%, and the standard deviation being 1.3038. The great, the amazing, the hard to pronounce, cornmeal H. Cragsley. I thought it was on my hand. Cormainiel Cragsley wins this round. With quite confused as to who Billy was, I came to the conclusion that Lord Vader must have been looking for someone else, so I decided to run for it before tripping on a misplaced toothbrush. Damn it. Clearly the Luna toothbrush reference made this post pop out, and it made everyone rank it first, because look at all those first, seconds, thirds, and fourths, and fifths. It's amazing. It was a clear winner here, and it was the least controversial because most people voted it closer to first. On the right, the greener it is, the more people voted that rank, and the rank is at the top, so 1 is first. And if it was like a darker green, that means like more people voted for that sentence to be first. It shouldn't be that confusing, but apparently it is to me. This is a good time to mention if your sentence was a run-on sentence, or it could have been 2 sentences, but you didn't put the punctuation mark in. You got a penalty of minus 1.5%. Sorry about that, but it didn't change any results. But doesn't it hurt deep inside? Don't do it ever again. In second place is a man with 65.5455% of sentences the sentence was better than, is Soul Snake. All of the sudden, a ship flew above the rest, a disco ball descended from it, and it became clear what I had to do. It was time to do the spaceship slide, which got a penalty for being run on. But it's a pretty good sentence, and the spaceship slide is probably what got you all that fame. Look at those 2 first places you got. Anyway, in third place is a man with 64.7727% of sentences the sentence was better than, is Brandon, with after doing the spaceship slide for what felt like light years, the captain of one of the ships warped into mine. This is probably because either spaceship slide again, or the light years pun in quotation marks, which I really liked. But it also tied with Mexfecto's not wanting to join the disgusting pile of meat. I quickly grabbed a bloody metal pipe laying on the ground, which was more of like a realistic, non-funny sentence, which also gets you high, and it's proven right here. In fifth place is I'm Chuck, with I noticed the space rock seems to be in italic and looked like spaceships. It was okay. And very consistent with 4 people saying that it should be ranked 7th. In 6th place was Angle. You're in the nice middle with a 50.7727% of sentences. The sentence was better than... and you were the most controversial sentences, as you can see on the right. It also was a run-on sentence, so it deserved a penalty. Next up was Dragonfire with his Luna reference, which got him not that far actually compared to number 1. And then in 8th place, we got Nogan Narwhal, which also referenced Luna, but also didn't get that far up. 9th place was the start of the sentence, Mafia Boss, which also was a run-on sentence, and apparently it wasn't a good start, so yeah. And these are the last 2 sentences, so if you don't hear your name, that means you're dead. So in 10th place with 42.0455% and a standard deviation of 1.8708 is, after getting back up, I decided to leave, and after searching long and wide, I found an old rocket. But turns out it broke down while I was flying away, so now I'm stuck on Mars. Great. Which was CG3K, which was letter K again for some reason, which means that Butter is out with a low score of 32.9545%. Yikes, the boarding doors opened and the captain that crashed had been Darth Vader. Apparently it's too bland and too much of a mix of realistic and funny. You will be eliminated from the competition. Very sorry to hear that. But good job, Cornmeal, for being first, your prize is a buddy. So you can choose one of these contestants to be your buddy, and you guys will know each other's sentence, know where the sentence will be, and you can help each other out with your sentences. So like you could say something that would transition into your sentence. Basically, you just help each other out. And also, let's reveal the people with poison. They were Butter, Dragonfire, and Max Fecto. Silly people. And Soul Snake and I think Max Fecto still haven't used their poison, so you guys can use it for this round. And I think that wraps everything up. We're down to 10 contestants left. 3 are already eliminated. And the topic was restaurant for this round, so keep that in mind. So I'm changing the voting system again so that stuff doesn't get in my likely spam folder. It's just going to be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, all left to right, where on the left would be the best and on the right would be the worst. So if you had A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, A would be first and J would be last and B would be second, C would be third, and so on and so on. And also don't forget to vote this time, contestants, because your vote does actually matter. So if you vote yours the highest, then you have a less likely chance of you being eliminated. It's not like people are gonna hate you if you vote, because contestants are allowed to vote. And also I need votes for more data, please. Okay, the winner last time, I already forgot how to say his name, but Criminal H. Craigsley got a buddy, which basically means he can choose one of the contestants to be his buddy, and then they can see each other's sentences and where that sentence is. Also, one person was poisoned this time. Let's see if you can figure out who it was. Poison means you have to use 20 words or less, so let's see if you guys can figure that out. Also, this story kind of ended abruptly. Not really, but it kind of ended abruptly. So, contestants, when you're getting closer to the end of the story, don't forget to transition into an ending. So now I want to talk about badges. All the dead contestants from now on are going to be receiving really cool badges, okay? First up to receive a badge is going to be Butter, who got the first badge, which basically means he was first in the last round and then died in the next, which is actually what happened. So this is what his badge is going to look like. So yeah, that's Butter's badge. Next up is Luna, who got the the Ouchies badge, which basically means they went through a horrible elimination. Like, if I remember, I think Luna got 6 most hated points, and 6 out of the 8 contestants hated that sentence the most. And this is what it looks like. The toothbrush really sells the look. Okay, next dead contestant, it was Magical Miles, who gets the slept time badge for sleeping when he was supposed to give his sentence. So yeah, it's not that great of a badge, but you still get one, and this is what it looks like. Okay, the last thing I need to talk about before we move on to reading sentences is the popularity contest in quotation marks. Basically, I decided I'm gonna count how many times I mention your name in a video, and how many times people mention your name on Discord, being contestants. And this is what I got so far. It's not going to be as accurate because on Discord, it's only if they mention your name or your nickname, but it's as accurate as I can get. So this is what I have so far. It looks like Cormaneal and Luna are tied for the most mentioned, which is kind of accurate because in Discord, he's called Cornmeal all the time, and it's just weird. And so yeah, his Discord mentioned is really what bring him up. And the least mentioned person is dead person Magical Miles, and the most least mentioned alive person is Brandon and Mafia Boss. So they're technically the underdogs of popularity. I don't know. Anyway, I could finally move on to reading sentences. The waiter came up to me, a large smile on her face, but something was not right. The waiter had a weird look on their face, almost like they knew me somehow. Too shy to ask about it, I turned my attention to the very scrumptious-looking plate of al dente pasta with carbonara
Carbonara.
sauce. Carbonara sauce, yum. Hope I pronounced that right. I began stuffing my face on the spot as the waitress kindly told me to have a good meal, to which I responded, "You too," in the most awkward way possible. I scooped up a delicious chunk of pasta, bringing it closer to the dark void, my mouth. I ate it, but suddenly started feeling sick inside, almost as if I got poisoned, and the waiter asked me if it tasted nice. At this point, I know she knew what she put in it. My vision went hazy, and all of a sudden I passed out. The last thing I remember seeing was that waitress smile. I awoke inside a somber dungeon to the voice of the waitress who poisoned me before. I've had a sex change since we last met, 37. But you know me best as Maddox, the man you were supposed to kill but didn't, she said matter-of-factly. Maddox, the person I have been contracted to kill during World War II, began to walk out of the dungeon as I attempted to look for any possible escape from the chains that bared me to the wall. I hear footsteps behind me, a loud cocking of a gun, then a loud bang, then everything went black. So not exactly a happy ending, but that's because they needed to end the story. You guys didn't really transition into a nice ending, so the last person had a hard time. But that's okay, because you guys gotta vote. Please vote. I need you to vote. The results are in for round 3, and I decided to cut voting early because we actually did get a lot of votes today. Thank you to everyone who has voted. It's actually really cool that this competition worked. It was kind of just an idea in my head, but I actually came up with it before watching TWOW, and then immediately after I got TWOW my recommended, and it told me to watch TWOW Zero, and it really, it's inspired me to make this, and it's actually a real thing. So I just want to say thank you, contestants and viewers, for voting and making this come to life. Anyway, let's move on. We got 11 votes in total, but there was a few suspicious voting. I'm not going to penalize for this suspicious voting, but I just want to point out 2 people had the exact same vote. The contestant probably got their friend to vote for them, but it's not like that's not allowed or anything. I just wanted to point that out. And there's also another suspicious one. These two accounts voted almost the same thing, but I'm not going to penalize for that. I just wanted to point it out. Please, if any of you are actually voting on 2 different accounts, don't do that, but I doubt any of you are. I just want to say it makes the competition more fair if you don't. Anyway, it's been about a week since the last video, so the popularity contest has been updated, and here it is. It looks like Cornmeal / Kermanil is taking over with his 18 weighted mentions, and Luna is in second, and now there's even more people that are the most unpopular, which includes Dead Person Miles, Mafia Boss, CG3K, and Logan. So they're the new underdogs, guys. So don't know what that means, but sorry if my microphone sounded weird in the last video. There's some mess ups. I had to retake them with my computer. I had to retake them with my built-in computer microphone, so it's one of those sentences sounded terrible. Anyway, after this, we'll only have 9 contestants left, which is actually pretty cool. Not really. It's just I want to say that every time. One person's getting a prize and one person is going to be eliminated. And since we're going to have one person eliminated, that eliminated person is going to have a badge. I decided to start recording the ranking of everyone after each vote. So after the first vote, I recorded your rank, and then the second vote, and then the third vote, all up to when all 11 votes were made. And I made a little motion graphic showing what rank you are after like a period of time. So that's going to be what shows the results, and it's going to be really intense, and it's, yeah. Just a reminder for contestants, when you're giving sentences, make sure they're clever, original, and just not repeating or run-ons, and something that the voters will like, so that you won't get eliminated. And also, vote responsibly, and I think we can now move on to results to show the cool motion graphic thingy. Ooh. looks like Cormaneal H. Cragsley is first again. What? Looks like he's gonna be one of the top tier people for this season of STeller. And his sentence was, "I began stuffing my face on the spot as the waitress kindly told me to have a good meal, to which I responded, 'You too,' in the most awkward way possible." And he had a buddy, which probably helped him, actually. So I'm going to make his prize a little bit less helpful to him. He was also the least controversial again. Oh my gosh. But there's less votes for him. There's no votes for him for first, and there are more votes closer to like 10th, which is actually pretty surprising. It's funny how the votes go 4 for second and 3 for third, and then 2 and 1. It's kind of cool how they count down. Max Fecto was second, but then I'm Chuck stole second place at one point. With his sentence, the waiter came up to me with a large smile on their face, but something was not right, which was a great start to the sentence, I'm Chuck. Good job. Which just proves that starting the sentence does not always have to kill you. And it wasn't really controversial, but it also wasn't the least controversial. And in third was Max Fecto, which was actually Cormaneal H. Cragsley's buddy. What? Which is why they were so close to each other. That's just coincidence. Max Fecto's sentence was, "Too shy to ask about it. I turned my attention to the very scrumptious looking plate of al dente pasta with carbonara sauce. Yum." Which was an okay sentence, but not okay to get first. And also, it got pretty close to the true average, 50%, which is pretty insane. And it was pretty controversial if you look at the votes on the right. So that's the podium. Now I'm just going to be saying who's in what rank. So it's Logan Avery in fourth, which said the waiter had a weird look on their face. It seemed like the sentence voted the highest were the ones that were closer to the beginning. So I don't know if that's coincidence, or if it's actually better to start to be at the beginning of a sentence. A story, not a sentence. Anyway, in fifth place was actually Brandon, who almost had the longest sentence and almost got 50%. But look at how many votes were closer to 10th. He got no first, second, thirds, or fourth. Sorry about that, Brandon. In sixth is Percival Bondragon, who I'm pretty sure had the longest sentence out of all of us, but did only get 6. And I thought his sentence was okay, but it did get pretty long, which is probably why it was voted lower. And also, it was closer to the end of the sentence, which apparently makes your sentence worse. I don't know why. And in 7th was CG3K, who had an okay sentence, but these percentiles are getting actually low, 38.38%. And it also was the most controversial sentence. It had 1 in first and 1 in 10th. And look, lots of people voted it first and last. And 8th was Sold Snake with one of the short sentences, which is actually, as a lot of people think, it should have been in the middle. But okay, we have 2 contestants left to announce their rank. Either Angle or Mafia Boss is going to be eliminated. And they actually had pretty close percentiles. And in 9th place, with 2 votes for first, 1 for second, and so on, is Angle, which means Mafia Boss, sadly, is dead. He was also the person who ended the story. So apparently my theory was right that if you're closer to the end of the sentence, you're ranked lower. Mafia Boss's sentence was, I hear footsteps behind me, a loud cocking of a gun, then a loud bang, then everything went black, which is actually a pretty generic ending, and it was a pretty lazy way to end the story, which is most likely why it got last. Few people voted at 4th and 5th, but there's a lot of 9th place, 10th place, and 8th place, which probably got him killed. Sorry, Mafia Boss, but you have to go. But guess what? You also get a really cool and amazing badge. This one's called Standing Tall, which is like, it combines start and end because, I don't know if you guys know, but Mafia Boss actually started round 2 of the story. So he gets a badge called Standing Tall, which means you're forced to be the start or the end of the sentence a lot. And that's how he died. And this is his badge. Doesn't it look so cool? That stick figure took me hours to make, okay? Okay, so you guys better like that badge. Anyway, it's time to tell you what Cormaneal H. Cragsley's prize is. It is, I can't really come up with a good name for it, so I'm gonna call it Dirtying Up. So when I get all the sentences, you choose a contestant sentence to mess up. And you can either add one word to the sentence or remove one word from the sentence. Also, I forgot to mention that I'm Chuck was poisoned. Here, let me show you guys the more data thing I made. It shows all the ranks and who has what power-ups and all the badges as well. You can also see that Kermanil has won all 3 rounds. So guys, you gotta make some good sentences if you want to pass up Kermanil. This next topic is gonna be sports, so make the story about sports this time, contestants. We had our 9 contestants give us sentences, which means next episode we'll only have 8 left. Because we only have 8 left, it's gonna make a short story, and it's gonna be harder to like do the ending thing and that problem I had. So the 8 contestants next round get 2 sentences to make for the story, so it can be 16 sentences long. Also, none of the contestants' sentences are gonna be next to each other. I'm gonna try to see how that works. Don't forget, Max Fecto had poison and Kermanil had the dirty up. Also, let me clarify something about power-ups. So the rule for power-ups is you have 3 rounds to use them. If you don't use them in the 3 rounds, it goes in the garbage. Also, I saw a lot of votes on the 3.1 video that had their sentence in the beginning, but then all the other sentences listed A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, which made sentences that were closer to the start of the sentence ranked higher. I decided since your sentence placement in the story was so close to your rank, I made a chart that shows the average distance between your sentence and your rank, and it turns out Butter had the most distance and Dragon had the least distance. But it doesn't happen all the time. I mean, Butter's sentence was last and he still got first. I actually wasn't last. It was second to last, but it still got first. Even one of Kermanil's sentences, that was 10th, got first. And a sentence that was in 5th got last. And it doesn't always happen, so I don't think that it is bad, and I don't think we should really do anything about it. Moving on, I got 2 suggestions, and one of them was from Cornmeal, and this is what it said. Eventually, I should make an episode where I don't give a theme, so you guys have to make up the story on your own. And I was thinking about doing that, but I didn't know when I would do that. CG3K said it could be a bonus round, and Max Vecto said it could be some type of power-up, and it wouldn't be too overpowered. And I had a suggestion, in quotes, from Dragonfire. He said to pronounce this word, and I'm gonna try to do it. I swore never say not family friendly thing on Little Luigi's channel. It was kind of hard to pronounce, so I don't know why he wanted me to pronounce it anyway. The only thing else I want to talk about is maybe ideas for next videos. Like, some ideas I had were bringing back someone an episode, giving last place a power-up one episode, making a super story where everyone gets to make a bunch of sentences so we have a long story. But now it's time to read the sentences so you guys can vote on them. I'm gonna try to not mess up this time since I mess up every single other time. Today in gym class, my enemy walked through the door and he gave me the stink eye, in which made me kind of mad, but I just brushed it off and got my sports gear on. One wink plus a short conversation to the gym teacher later, and my feminine charms got me the best dodgeball team in the class. I realized that during that conversation, I had been totally blinded by my own witty charm, and now I see that I had forgotten that I sucked truck at dodgeball. It probably didn't help that I have literal spaghetti for arms, but so did Rocky Ball. Yeah, that's a word I can't pronounce. And if he could win, so could I. Slam! A dodgeball nailed me right in the face. I was dazed and confused as the ball bounced into the air from the impact to my face. Before I knew it, I had hit the ground, but got up again so that I would look tough. I dodged and catched all the balls thrown my way, making my enemy and me the last one standing. With the determination of 1,000 Spartan soldiers, I threw those rubber projectiles at the speed of sound and hit every last opponent in the chest, sending them flying as the whole room cheered for their new hero. This story actually was good, which I'm actually pretty glad. I really like Actually, I can't say what I like, so I don't like any of it. This is going to be the end of round 4, where this time the topic was sports. We're going to have another motion graphic where shows your placement over time. I updated the look of the popularity contest, so it shows how many mentions you got per episode, and I got rid of the Discord mentions because it was just too much for me. I couldn't keep track of it. Cornmeal is on top with 19 mentions, following Luna, Max Fecto, and somehow Mafia Boss has gotten a lot of mentions. And the least mentioned people are Sold Snake, Brandon, and Magical Miles. And just so you guys keep your mentions, I'm just going to mention all the names I didn't say. Butter Angel, Percival Von Dragon, M Chuck, CG3K, Logan Avery. The sentence versus letter placement is also going to be updated after this, but I need to show results first. Now, I was hoping at least one person would notice this, but there were 10 sentences in this story, and there were 9 contestants that were giving sentences. So where did that 10th sentence come from? Well, I sure did bamboozle you guys, because it was me all along. I sneaked in a sentence when you guys weren't looking. So that's why my name is going to be on the motion graphic thing. I think we can move on to the motion graphic. Here it is. It looks like Cornmeal actually didn't win for once in his life, which I kind of like because I don't like it when there's just one person always on top. Max Fecto won. You might be wondering what Max Fecto's sentence was, and what brilliant sentence got him to first place. What sentence was so grammatically correct and so clever and just amazing that so many people would vote him first? Well, it's slam. You also might be wondering why Max Fecto's sentence was 1 word long. Well, this smart man decided he would poison himself with his own poison, which caused him to only be able to put 1 word, and it actually worked, because he decided he'd put onomatopoeia in the story, and it turned out great for him because people liked the originality, and it finally beat Cornmeal. And Cornmeal actually ended the story, which proves the placement in your sentence does not correlate with your rank, okay? Myth busted. Anyway, Cornmeal's sentence was the longest sentence, and it was actually the first great ending. But I bet you guys want to know who's in third, and you'll never guess who it is. It was Angel. By the way, I almost forgot to mention, as opposed to Cornmeal's responses that were first always being the least controversial, Max Fecto's first place response was the most controversial response out of all of them, receiving 3 first place, 1 ninth, and 1 10th. You can clearly see it in this little cool voting visual on the right. In third place was Angel, which was the sentence that said that they suck truck at dodgeball, and it was the least controversial, receiving 3 fourth place votes and 3 sixth place votes. In fourth place is Sold Snake, and he got 2 last place ones for Sold Snake. But he mentioned some guy, I have no idea who that is, but it was so relatable to all the contestants because they voted it pretty high. In 5th place was Brandon, with his sentence about getting nailed in the face. In 6th place was Dragon, with one of my favorite sentences. In 7th was CG3K, which was the enemy gave him a stink eye sentence. And you might have noticed that you haven't heard Little Luigi yet, which means there's 3 ranks left to give. And if I give a person's rank, it'll reveal who is going to be eliminated. So I don't exactly know how I'm going to reveal this, but it's just going to happen. In last place, with an average percentile of 27.16%, with the 5th most controversial response, is the sentence, "I dodged and catched all the balls thrown my way, making my enemy and me the last one standing," which was by me, Little Luigi. Oh, I'm eliminated from the competition. I'm gonna have to leave STeller forever. Bye, guys. Just kidding. I'm still in the competition. Anyway, the real last place was, and their sentence was, today in gym class, my enemy walked through the door and, which means this sentence is by Logan Avery, and it was the first sentence, which also proves that being the first sentence doesn't make you the best. The first sentence lost, and the last sentence
got second.
I'm so sorry that you had to die, Logan, but I guess your sentence wasn't original enough. I guess it was too short, which is why your badge is gonna be called Shortenses. I'm so great at coming up with names, meaning the contestants' sentences that they made were usually short. To prove that most of Logan's sentences were short, I made a chart showing all the sentence lengths and characters and words and everyone's average character and word count, while Logan didn't have the shortest character and word count. It was pretty small. In round 4, she had the second shortest sentence because Max Specto was like, I want to be the shortest. Round 3, she was the shortest sentence. And in round 1, I think she was the third shortest sentence. So, okay, do I need to prove it anymore? Also, it's just cool to see everyone's average character and word count. Now I can also show you the sentence letter versus placement chart. I don't remember who had the most and least distance, but these are the new distances. Because Carmenil was the 10th sentence and got almost first, and Logan was the first sentence and got almost last, things changed a lot. And here's the more data. As you can see, Cormanil's still on top, but Max Facto's still second, but I think Sold Snake has been third, but Percival Dragon and I'm Chuck and Angle, and some things have changed, I don't know.
Transition!
Okay, before I explain the power-up, I have to explain the prompt that's going to be for next round. I'm going to say the topic for the next round is camping, but in reality, it's not camping. I'm going to say what the topic actually is going to be on the next episode. So you guys are going to give sentences about camping, but when I reveal the topic next episode, the voters are going to vote on your sentence if it's related to the topic and is a good sentence. So that's how the topic is going to work. So what the winner gets is they can see the actual prompt so that their sentence can be related to the actual prompt. Editing Luigi here, I forgot to mention the power-up is called Binoculars. Anyway, even though Cormanil didn't win this time, he's still way ahead in the lead. I don't know how he keeps getting so highly ranked, but you guys gotta step up your sentence game. It took me a long time to get all these sentences for round 5, but I needed 16 in total, so it was really hard to get all these sentences. Sorry it took so long. We have 8 contestants right now, and next episode we're only gonna have 7, but next episode, I will get all the dead contestants to send me a reason why they should be revived, and then I'll show it in the next episode, and you guys can vote on which one you want to be revived. But also, all dead people will get a knife, and they can stab a contestant to make them lose 10% of their score for the next round. But if they do that, they also will not be able to be revived. Enough about dead contestants. Let's talk about everyone's overall rank. Cormanil seems to still be in the lead, of course, with his 3 wins and his 1 second place. And CG3K is doing the worst out of all alive contestants, and Luna, of course, is doing the worst out of everyone. And Butter is still the best dead contestant because of his 1 win and followed by 1 loss. So usually in results, I usually have a rank over time motion graphic thing, but I'm gonna change the way it looks, so it's gonna show everyone's percentile over time, so you can see who's in the lead more. So it's not just like, oh, he's doing better than this, but you don't know how better he's doing. Enough about all this random stuff I want to talk about. Let's just move on to the actual story. I said the prompt was camping, and Max Specto knew the actual prompt, and the actual prompt was hunting. And you'll see there it was gonna go that way, but it didn't really go that way. I mean, I don't know. And remember, when you're voting, you vote on who has the best sentence or the worst sentence, and you also vote on if they followed the topic or not. So like if they followed hunting. As our Brobganubadabada RV rolled into the campground, the tent peasants ran out into the road to blockade us. They shouted, "What you doing in this campground, huh?" So sarcastically I replied, "Definitely not camping in the campground." They snapped their fingers in a Z formation. "Is that sass I hear in your voice? Interpret this as you wish. I'm not here to bother you." I spat at them as the crew drove towards the neighboring forest, excitedly stuffing boxes of ammunition and PB&J sandwiches into the duffel bag. The tent was set up next to a stream, and I guess I felt stupid putting the tent there when a giant tsunami formed from the steam, wiping out the tent and ruining all the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Freaking frick, all the sandwiches are ruined, I said, disappointed. Knowing I messed up really bad, I began looking into every bag we bought with us to find a quick snack that would prevent me from looking like a buffoon, and eventually stumbled upon the boxes of ammo that I had forgotten about. I didn't know what to do. Those sandwiches looked so good and now they're gone. But suddenly, I stole a glance on the ammo. I have an idea. I quickly decided to use an ammo as a supplement for the ruined sandwiches. My body needs food, and this ammo can't be that bad to eat. Believe it or not, the ammo was delicious, and before I knew it, I had eaten it all. As soon as I finished, I began coughing up gunpowder, which caused me to shout, "Motherfricka, I got bronchitis!" I then realized that by me having bronchitis, I could now have superpowers like all the other superheroes. Having ruined the meal and eaten the entire replacement I made for it, I decided to stop imagining things, load my gun with what was left of the pile of shells, and go grab myself some meat to grill. Suddenly, a strange man in a cloak came up to me, handing me a paper with endgame spoilers on it. I loaded my gun. I was too wiped to think up a reason as to why this shady individual was staring at me and talking about colored stones, so I mindlessly ported my gun at him and fired, only to reveal a flag bearing the word "bang" on it, at which point I remembered that guns aren't a thing in Canada. All of our dead contestants chose either to stab someone or give a reason they want to be revived. Cormanil, I'm Chuck, and Max Vecto were stabbed, so they all lose 10%. Ouch, that must hurt. Logan Avery and Butter gave a reason they want to be revived. Logan's was, I'm Suicidal, and my Sentan Kesses have correct grammar are totally legit reason. And Butter's was, I would like to be revived because this show needs more butter in it. Butter makes things taste better, so I will make this show better. Let's make STeller great again. So everyone, vote on which contestant deserves to be revived by putting their name in the comments below. I think it's time for a fan art break. We got some amazing fan art from CG3K right here. It really shows how this competition, it shows it's like a metaphor for life. And Sold Snake has also made some little Luigi fan art, and it's just undescribable. Be sure to share some more fan art in the STeller Discord in the description below. I forgot to mention last episode that the contestant's best sentence counts as their percentile, so their terrible sentences do not count. Anyways, be prepared for the best motion graphic in the world. Go! It looks like the underdog, CG3K, actually won somehow. Let's show his winning sentence. This is the sentence that got first. I wasn't really expecting this, but the voters liked this sentence, I guess. And look at all those different votes. This sentence was pretty controversial, just like all the other ones. In second place, with around 60% percentile, is CG3K again. How did he do so well with this? It's just a copy of Logan Avery's format, where you put ... to let the other person finish the sentence. Well, I guess it's trademarked now. On to third place, which is Percival Bond Dragon with a sentence with the word I can't pronounce, which is also a new Dragonfire format. You just put a random word that little Luigi can't pronounce in there. In fourth place is Percival again. In fifth place is Soul Snake with his unexpected sentences. It seems all the non-serious sentences are getting higher ranks. And 6th is Brandon's sentence, which suggested eating ammo. And 7th is Angel's, with a reference to Endgame, which was a smart and terrible decision at the same time. And 8th was also Angel's sentence, which was the first sentence to suggest to consume ammo. And 9th was Brandon's cool little twist sentence, where the camp gets wiped out. And 10th is Solid Snake's sass sentence. And in 11th was I'm Chuck's Luna format ripoff. So many formats being ripped off today, which means either Max Fecto or Cormanil will be eliminated today, the last people you'd expect. So, in 12th place, with 43.33 percentile, is Max Fecto with Interpret This As You Wish. I'm not here to bother you. I spat at them and asked the crew. I can't read all this. The reason why Max Fecto says, why can't I talk? Most likely the reason why Max Fecto's sentence was voted so low, it's probably because it was so long, and voters do not like reading, apparently. And it was pretty generic as well, so that's probably why it's so low. Which means that in 13th place is Cormanil, the last person you'd expect to be eliminated. He's won almost all of the rounds except for one where he got second. With I was too wiped up to think, basically it was the end where the gun said bang on it. It's the most anticlimactic ending we've had yet, and it was also the longest sentence, which is another reason why people voted Cormanil's down. I don't know why, but I'm Chuck's sentence wasn't last, but Max Fecto's normal sentence was. I don't know, these voters are a bit weird. Anyway, the badge that Cormanil gets is going to be called Drained, which means he used so much of his energy to make amazing sentences that he didn't have enough energy to make good ones for this round and got eliminated because of it. Some people might be really confused as to why Max Fecto and Cormanil did so terrible all of a sudden. Well, this is my STeller theory, guys. It's my new ripoff of a game theory. I'm going to tell you guys the story of Max Fecto and Cormanil. Max Fecto and Cormanil joined STeller through the video I made telling everyone to join. Max Fecto commented saying, "Count me in," but Cormanil just went on the server and told me he wanted to join there, which was fine. In round 1, Max Fecto said he wasn't going to vote, but he secretly voted on this alt called I don't know how to pronounce it, but... And of course the vote didn't give any hate points to him or Cormanil, which is a normal thing to do. In round 2, he voted on his alt again, and not on his main account to hide the fact that he voted, and he voted him first, and he voted Cormanil third, which I guess is okay. If Cormanil had a good sentence, he deserves to be third. In round 3, Max Fecto voted on his main account this time, putting himself first and Cormanil second, which is a bit suspicious, but it's probably fine. But then later, he voted on his alt account, Salva blah blah blah. On round 3, I DM'd him about it on Discord. He said that some other people also had access to the account, and they guessed that they voted on it, and which it made me skeptical, but I kind of shrugged it off. And then Cormanil voted on round 3, putting Max Fecto first for some reason, and Cormanil second. I don't know why he didn't put himself first. He also said that he made this YouTube account just to vote, so like he just made it. It seemed weird to me. In round 4, Max Fecto's alt account voted Max Fecto first and Cormanil third. Max Fecto voted him first and Cormanil second, and Cormanil voted him first and Max Fecto second. It's like really weird how they consistently vote each other high. Suddenly a person named, I don't know, he joined the STeller Discord server, and on round 5 he said he didn't have a YouTube account, so he just DM'd me his vote, which had Cormanil first and second, and Max Fecto 5th and 4th, which is really suspicious. Out of all the 16 votes, they're both first. Max Fecto voted his sentences first and second, and Cormanil's sentences third and 5th. Max Fecto's alt voted Max Fecto first and third, and Cormanil second and 4th. And lastly, Cormanil voted himself first and second, and Max Fecto 4th and 5th, which is super suspicious that out of all the 16 sentences, all of Cormanil and Max Fecto's sentences were in the top 5. So I decided this wasn't fair. They can't be voting themselves up. So I averaged up all their 4 votes and made it into 1 vote. And somehow Cormanil and Max Fecto did the worst out of everyone. I wasn't expecting them to do so bad. I was expecting them to be like 50% or something. And here's a screenshot of all the votes, and you can see how similar they are to each other. All this got me to start thinking Max Fecto and Cormanil might be the same person, or they might be telling each other which sentences are theirs and voting themselves up, which I'm leaning more towards they're the same person because of how similar all their votes are. Max Fecto said on the STeller Discord while Cormanil was offline that Cormanil would go online in about 2 days and say, "What is this nonsense?" word from word, because I DM'd everyone that they were stabbed. Here's a screenshot. And then 6 minutes later, Cormanil said, "What is this nonsense?" word from word. They have the same humor. They make their sentences pretty long, and their sentences are formatted in the same way. So my theory is either Max Fecto, Cormanil, Salvador, blah blah blah, and I can't pronounce that either, are the same person on alts, or they're just helping each other out by telling them what to vote, or exactly what to vote, it looks like. I'm gonna have to say that Cormanil, Salvador, Monel, and the other one will not be allowed as a contestant and cannot vote on any more rounds. It'll just be Max Fecto. And Max Fecto, your punishment is that every single alive contestant that isn't you has the option to make you lose 5% or spare you. It is pretty harsh, but I can't have people cheating, making it not fun. By the way, after I've said all that, there's no way you're passing up Max Fecto and Cormanil in popularity points. I think I said their names at least more than 10 times. And these are who the contestants stabbed. Luna stabbed Cormanil, Mafia Boss stabbed I'm Chucked, and Magical Miles stabbed Max Fecto. Anyway, CG3K's prize for being first is a drain, inspired by Dragonfire's suggestions shown here. CG3K will choose a contestant to drain, and if he does better than them, they lose 5%, but if he does worse than them, he loses 3%. Also, since Cormanil died with his dirty up, it will be given to the winner of the round, which was CG3K. Let's check out how this round affected the overall data. Despite Cormanil's death, he's still the best out of everyone, and despite CG3K's win, he's still the worst alive contestant. So for round 6, everyone will get 2 sentences, but this time, they're right next to each other, and each letter labels a contestant's 2 sentences, so it's easier to vote and it's easier to get sentences from people. This round's topic is gambling, so tell your kids that gambling is bad and vote on which dead contestant you want revived. Remember, every contestant that wasn't Max Fecto had a chance to stab Max Fecto, making him lose 5%, or they had a choice to spare him, making him not lose 5%. 3 contestants chose to stab him, and 3 contestants chose to spare him, which is actually not what I expected. I expected more stabbing to happen, but I guess these contestants are forgiving. The topic was gambling this time. Don't gamble, kids. And speaking of gambling, I got everyone's standard deviation and averaged them to see who is the most controversial. And it turns out that Mafia Boss, Angel, and Percival Von Dragon are the most controversial, and Cormanil, Brandon, and Max Fecto are the least controversial. Also, I decided I'd finally show you guys the popularity contest again, since the amount of times I mentioned Cormanil and Max Fecto. And as you can see, Cormanil's at an all-time high at 61 mentions, and Magical Miles is still the worst at 6. And that's really not great. But Percival Von Dragon and CT3K got boosted up that round, because I talked about them a lot. Anyway, on to the story. I yeeted and skeeted and said, I wish there was a real-life EA game. And then I remembered gambling was a thing, so I used my epic gamer skills to drive to the casino. I went to the drive-thru to get into there's no drive-thru in the gambling arena? Anyway, I drove through the gambling arena and yeeted my money onto a game of poker. It seemed to make everyone unhappy. Judging from there, then some bloke with a pretty dandy tuxedo told me that I needed to place chips if I wanted to play. I was taken off guard by that. I'd completely forgotten to stop at 7-Eleven to up on some nacho cheese Doritos. That was when a random sage placed a headband of intellect on my head, and it boosted my intelligence score up to 19. This sudden comprehension gave me the insight to seek poker chips rather than food chips. I went to the table to get some poker chips until my ex-wife came bursting through the doors. She had left me because of my gambling, but I was shocked when she sat down at the poker table against me. Fight me, she said, rolling the dice with determination. The poker chips were looking delicious, all plastic and yummy. I needed them now. Determination flamed through my eyes. Not only did I want and have to show Karen what she was missing, but I needed those poker chips. I continued my game, winning every round till Karen finally left crying off to Brad. I showed her. We got 11 votes this time. I don't think it's the highest we've ever gotten, but it's pretty high. These are some intense results. We have laser guns pointed at Max Fecto right now because contestants got to stab or spare Max Fecto, and CG3K had a drain and a dirty up he could use, but we don't know if he used it or he didn't. Either Sold Snake, Brandon, Angel, Max Fecto, I'm Chuck, CG3K, or Percival Von Dragon will die in this episode, and then we'll have 6 left to fight for who wins. So without further hesitation, let's show results. As you can see, Angel and Percival Von Dragon got the same percentile, but Angel wins because there were more first, second, third votes that were in her favor, and she was the end of the story. And apparently, it was a very good ending to people. I mean, I don't have an opinion. Percival's sentences were the sentences that said to use poker chips instead of food chips, which also people liked because it fixed the weird sentence. And we just keep eating inanimate objects like poker chips. And third place is Brandon, who created the ex-wife comes in and plays poker with you sentence, which made the plot happen and be a thing. In fourth place is CG3K with the weird sentence, and I didn't expect it to be so high. And fifth place was Sold Snake, which I expected to be last because it's just such a weird sentence with yeeted and skeeted. And sixth place is I'm Chuck. He just always does the worst somehow. And he gave the shortest sentences. And he said the poker chips were looking delicious, like he needs to stop. Which means in seventh is Max Fecto, who got dirty upped by CG3K, stabbed 3 times, and got drained by CG3K as well. The dirty up is what killed him, or I guess the sentences is what killed him. I doubt that's what happened, but I'm pretty sure the random words that were taken away is what got him killed. Max Fecto was doing as well as Cormanil was doing, and now he's going to die with 5.76% percentile, which is the lowest percentile we've ever had. And these percentiles was actually really low this time. I guess everyone's sentences were controversial. Actually, I'm Chuck's was the most controversial. Now Max Fecto gets a really cool epic badge. He gets the stabbed badge, which means power-ups were used to get the contestant eliminated from the competition. His badge looks super cool with the knife inside of it. Quick fan art from Max Fecto. Wow, that's a meme. Haha, funny. Now with 6 contestants left, we're more than halfway done with STeller. Everyone's gonna get 2 sentences again this time. The topic for round 7 is gonna be crime. And the prize that Angel gets is gonna be a locator. You can choose where your sentence will be in the story. You can make it be the start, the end, the middle, wherever. That's your prize. And Percival Von Dragon, since you got the same percentile as Angel, I'm gonna give you a prize too. It's not gonna help you with winning or anything. You get to choose the background music. Isn't that so exciting? I also have to announce who's getting revived. The person with the most votes was Butter with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 entire votes over Logan's 2 votes. And now with Butter, all the food for STeller will be amazingly. Welcome back to the competition. But since you're being revived, you're gonna get poisoned, okay? I can't give you a free pass. Also, heads up, when we get to 3 people left, you guys will get to choose your own icons. You'll get to choose the background colors for the STeller episodes and so much more, okay? So, you want to be the top 3. Also, if you want to be a STeller contestant, stay tuned for Season 2. An update on the date of the popularity contest hasn't really changed, but Dragonfire starting to get a lot of mentions. Dragonfire has 23 mentions, and right below Dragonfire is CG3K with 1 less mention than Dragonfire. Man, I sure have been saying Dragonfire a lot. I'm sure it's just a coincidence that I'm saying Dragonfire, and it's not that Dragonfire suggested to say his name, which is Dragonfire a lot. I'm gonna read the story to you guys. Sweat began to conquer on my face. I was running, sprinting even. I had made a horrible mistake and I was about to pay for it. I could hear them all catching up to me. They were yelling some sort of chant. I couldn't hear anything except for the word toothbrush. I couldn't think straight, and all that was going on in my mind was, run, just run, keep running, don't stop, just keep running. Suddenly, all I could see was red, and for a couple seconds, I couldn't feel or see anything, but then I finally regained control and found out I had beat up several people without knowing it. One of those people was Officer STeller, and I realized what I had done would get me a lot of prison time. But that's when I noticed Officer STeller was working on the Outlaws biker gang as a part of their drug ring. The other 6 men were wearing the matching jacket with the logo embroidered on their back, and I started to hear more of them and realized if I didn't get out of here, I wouldn't be able to keep overpowering them, so before I left, I noticed a toothbrush sticking out of the Officer Evans' pocket, and I made sure to take that as evidence for later. I sprinted away from the scene, hopping on my police motorcycle and blasting away. I knew that if I couldn't get to the police chief, Jasper, the one non-corrupt officer in the precinct, I could shut them all down. I saw Officer Jasper at a gas station and skidded to a stop. I started walking to him, just to realize that the biker gang knew all along. They all looked at me like the way a hungry lion looks at prey. It was at that moment when I realized I might not make it. But even with the slim chance of survival, I still fought that biker gang with all of my might, and I was about to win until Mr. Beast came in and paid them each $10K to leave. But before they walked away, Mr. Beast knocked them all out from behind and took the money back. And that's the story. Let's see if Butter survives this. Hey, what's up guys? Little Luigi here, and welcome to You know what? I'm not animating that stupid same text again. Doing that same text animation so many times has been just so boring. I need something different. Cue the music. Welcome to STeller 7.2, Round 7. I'm your host, Mr. L, and we'll be looking at the results of Round 7. But before that, I want to mention that this is the 16th STeller video, counting the how to play videos, which means it's the longest series on my channel, passing the Mindfighter SMP series. That's kind of sad though. Whatever. This might be one of the few series that I'll actually be able to finish. Anyway, let's see if Butter can survive his first round being revived. The topic for this story was crime, and our 7 contestants left. Each submitted 14 sentences overall, and one of those contestants will be eliminated. As always, the best contestant will receive a cool prize. We got 9 votes from Cabin Cube, CG3K, I'm Chuck, Max Pecto, Butter, Angel, Jigglypuff, Pokemon, Dragonfire, and an anonymous voter. Thank you all for voting, and remember, your vote will almost always change who dies and who prizes. So far, I'm Chuck and Brandon are the only alive contestants who haven't gotten a prize yet. Let's see if they can get it this round. Cue the line graph. It looks like Brandon won this round of STeller, which means I'm Chuck will be by himself in the non-prizer club. His sentences were the longest, And it looks like he won by creating a good plot for the story and maybe some other things, but I can't read voters' minds. And second was the sentences right after Brandon's, which is Dragonfire. He also added plot to the story, which I assume voters like, but he made a way shorter sentence than Brandon's. So don't be self-conscious about your sentence size, contestants. Anyone's sentence length can comprise even one-word sentences. And third, this sentence didn't get last? In fact, so many people voted it in first and also last. It was just a very controversial ending. Some voters liked the Mr. Beast reference, but some didn't like how it came out of nowhere and made an anticlimactic ending. And fourth is Butter. Congratulations on not dying your first round of being revived. Maybe you'll make a comeback and win this competition. I forgot to remind you that you were poisoned, and I also forgot to tell you the word limit, but you followed the word limit anyway. But don't think you're not going to be poisoned anymore. Since you were dead for 4 rounds, you're going to be poisoned for 4 more rounds. Sorry, but it's a bit unfair to the other contestants that had to live through 4 rounds and not die. In fifth is Sold Snake, who used the Logan Avery format of letting the next sentence finish yours because you're too lazy to put it yourself. I mean, you want the next sentence to express their creativity. Now we have 2 left, Angel and CG3K. One of you will leave this competition today, and one of you will move on. So, in 6th place with 43.65% is Angel, who wrote the first 2 sentences, which she chose to do herself. Voters did not like the start, I guess. Maybe it was a toothbrush reference or something, but you got second last, which means that CG3K will be eliminated. I'm sad and surprised to see you have to go, CG3K. Almost every round you kept thinking you would be eliminated, and it finally happened. You were the underdog once, but then you won the last round, and it seemed you might have had a chance, but voters didn't let that happen. But don't think your badge is going to be related to being an underdog. In fact, your badge is Murderer. That's right. You may seem like an innocent underdog, but you murdered Max Fecto in round 6 with your dirty up, stab, and drain. Don't hide behind your acronym name. We all know what it stands for. Cool Gaming 3000. And for Brandon, your prize is Clone. You will make double the sentences you normally would make, and they will be divided into 2 entries. You will choose the entry you think will do better, and that will be your rank and percentile. And the topic for next round is a party. So maybe a birthday party or a BBQ party or any celebration you want. Also, first place will no longer be receiving a prize for the next rounds. So tune in for the amazing story about a party that will happen in round 8. We have 6 contestants left fighting for those 1,000 Little Luigi points they might win. And that intro was made by me, yours truly. You know it was not made by me? This fan art, the first one is from Dragonfire, and it's a drawing of Dragonfire next to all his mentions I gave him. Max Fecto has some fan art of his little iconic pose thing, but it's Dragonfire's icon. And he also did it with me, Little Luigi. And Max Fecto also made another fan art, which was a meme of CG3K, but it was also a memorial for CG3K. And he also left me this bagels. And also, here's fan art from me of Red Fexto, which was used in the intro. Now, that's all the fan art away. And Dragonfire finally gave me his music he wanted me to use, and that's playing right now. I'll show the title of it on the screen and everything. But also, Sold Snake randomly gave me a song to use. I guess I'll use it. Instead of you guys getting power-ups or winning from now on, I'm going to be mentioning you 5 whole times. Isn't that amazing? 5 times? You get to be so famous. Speaking of mentions, the popularity contest has been updated. As you see, a certain 3 people have been stuck to the top because of a recent mentioning. and also just because those two people have just been mentioned a lot in one episode. But at the bottom, we have Solid Snake somehow only having 13 mentions, and our most mentioned dead contestant is Luna, of course, because the toothbrush incident. We also have an update on standard deviation. Angel is the most controversial live contestant, and Cormaniel is the least controversial. And in more data, we have everyone's overall rank. Cormaniel is still in first as a dead contestant, and our worst alive contestant is just Butter because he was revived, and also I'm Chuck. I will also be mentioning all alive contestants because they've made it this far. Dragonfire, Brandon, Solid Snake, Angel, I'm Chuck, but that guy doesn't count because he was revived. Here, I'll mention you guys' names again. Dragonfire, Brandon, Solid Snake, Angel, I'm Chuck. Okay, I hope you guys are happy. Speaking of stats, I've made a public spreadsheet with all the stats for all the rounds of Stellar. It has things like rank, percentile, normalized rank, and there's also word count, character count, where in the story, the rewards you got, the mentions on that round, and the votes is just for round 1, and also your sentences you made. And at the end of the stats thing, it shows the average, total average, and the total addition. So for rank, we can see that on average, Luna gets the worst rank because she just is, and Cormaniel gets the best rank. And on average, Cormaniel has the best percentile, and Luna has the worst percentile, and then same with normalized rank. Where in the story letter just shows the average letter you are in the story, and for most people it's F and G for some reason. This where in the story as a number just shows like, so 1 would be the end of the sentence, 0 would be the start, and 0.5 would be the middle. As you can see, Magical Miles is the closest to the start because that's what they begin with, and the closest to the end has been Butter. They also have the average mentions per video. Mafia Boss is mentioned the least per video. You got the word count added up all together and the character count, which surprisingly Brandon has the best character count. You also have the rewards everyone gotten, so Logan, Luna, Mafia Boss, and Miles have not received a reward yet because at the established there doesn't really count. So technically I'm Chuck too. And we also have all the sentences from each of the rounds in case you want to look at it. And we also have a second tab called All Sentences, which shows all the sentences we have, and also a random sentence randomizer and a random story randomizer, which you could go up to 913 sentences. So if you make a copy of the sheet and you just click backspace on that little area there, you can generate a random story. And that's all for the stat sheet. Also, one person didn't give their sentences. Can you figure out who it is? Anyway, let's read the story. I walked into the party, seeing everyone with red Solo cups. What are they drinking? Upon further inspection, I noticed it was Coca-Cola, but this is a high school party. I went right onto the dance floor and started to shake it, got down and funky. Then I bumped into my first grade crush, but she's a lot more stunning seeing her at this party. I began talking to my old love. Her silky hair shined in the light as I took a sip of my grape juice. No way am I gonna drink Coca-Cola. Then, as we finally began to laugh, I let out a burp. She stared at me. Aw, frick. Then something happened. The disco ball that was hanging above my crush fell. I tackled her out of the way, and I said, man, we had some panic at the disco. I winced, thinking she was gonna slap me for that pun, yet all I could hear was laughing. Then, to my surprise, she asked me out right then and there, and we danced the rest of the night together as lovers. What a nice, wholesome ending. Also, I didn't know whether to include this or not, but I got a suggestion from Chain Chomp Braden that says that I should start giving a starting sentence because being the start in the story is kind of hard. I might try this in the future, but we'll see. Anyways, the topic for this round was a party. We got 10 votes and 10 sentences. And Butter didn't give a sentence for Stellar, so he died again, and he gets the slept time badge for sleeping when he was supposed to be submitting. Remember, this time the prize is 5 mentions, and it will stay that way until the end of Stellar. The worst entry will die as always. After this, we will only have 4 contestants left, so we're really close to the top 3. But before I show you results, we have some fan art. First one is from Chain Chomp Braden, and it's beautiful. Next is from Expecto, and it's just deep fried Luigi. Okay, we need some actual fan art. Good thing we got it from Expecto again. This one shows reading the first STeller story next to a fireplace with a STeller knife hanging above it. Also, there's Expecto's weird old Discord username in the trash can. What an amazing art. Now, let's start results. As you can see, Angel has won a second time. Although I didn't expect this sentence to get first because then something happened, which was just not good. But somehow it pulled through and it got first. It got 3 first votes, which is really good. In second place is Sold Snake with the shortest sentence. And by the way, Angel's was the longest sentence. And Sold Snake was the one that had the pun, which I also didn't think would get this high, but apparently it did. In third place is Brandon, who started the plot up for the story, but still only got exactly 50% percentile. It also was the most controversial sentence. Now, we have 2 contestants left. Either I'm Chuck, the person who is known for making sentences about eating objects, or Dragonfire, the person who is known for putting weird words in his sentences. Now, I will reveal who is in 4th place in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In 4th place is I'm Chuck with 47.5% percentile. He started the story pretty rough with the Coca-Cola part of the sentence was not that great, but at least he wasn't Dragonfire, who unfortunately got last and is now going to be eliminated. I did not expect this round to eliminate Dragonfire. I thought the sentence was okay, but I didn't think it was elimination worthy. It was a bit generic to the plot, and it did kind of not add a lot, but I don't think it really deserves last, but that does mean you're dead. For the last 3 rounds, Dragonfire has gotten 2nd place, which is pretty consistent. Dragonfire actually has improved a lot through STeller, but unfortunately, he has to die today, which is so sad. And I also have to give Angel the prize of 5 mentions. So, Angel. Now, before I say Dragonfire's badge, let's look at a few meaningless stats. First, standard deviation. It hasn't really changed and only a few things have shifted, but I have calculated the standard deviation of your percentiles to find the most consistent contestant. Actually, Expecto is the most inconsistent because of his super low score when he died, but the most consistent is Dragonfire, which is why your badge is consistency. Your ranks may be inconsistent, but your percentiles have stayed pretty much in the same range. We have a beautiful story made by a clone user, Angel, I'm Chuck, and Sold Snake. But before we start off this episode, let's take a moment to respect the dead. The first dead we had was Luna. Luna, with her amazing creativity, created a beautiful sentence about frickin' toothbrushes. She was honored with her very own custom-made toothbrush. Magical Miles was next. This beautiful person was sleeping in the most comfortable bed. Magical Miles did not respond, causing Miles to suffer death while he was sleeping. Next was Butter, a delicious man who was killed by Darth Vader himself. He may have been revived, but he suffered Magical Miles' fate and was killed in his sleep. Next death was Mafia Boss, the person with the most outdated name. He was murdered by making the most anticlimactic ending to a story. Logan Avery is next. She was criticized for her short generic sentences in round 4 and was helplessly murdered by voters. Then came he's not even real. Then came Expecto, who was brutally murdered by CG3K in round 6. CG3K came after. He was wondering how he survived this long, but that jinxed him into death. And our last death for now, Dragonfire, one of the most unexpected deaths yet, who was unexpectedly forced into making a quick ending. Poor Dragonfire. but who will be next? Well, you voters decide. Do not forget to vote. Voting is what gives me life, so if you don't, I'm practically dead. Before we look at sentences, let's check out the popularity contest. A certain 3 people who I will not name are still staying up there. I wonder if they will ever move. But at the bottom, the dead is not getting recognized. Magical Miles and Mafia Boss, poor dead. Maybe if they were in stellar heaven, they would get more fame. With that said, let's look at some fan art. There's Angry Me, and there's me hurting being in low quality, and whoa, a meme of me killing everyone at STeller. But we also got a meme video from Dragonfire that's kind of long, so I'll try to shorten it.
It's the end. But the moment has been prepared for.
The Watcher. He was the Doctor all the time.
What an amazingly edited meme. Now, it's time to read a lovely bedtime story to you guys. I woke up, trapped inside this dark room with only a glimmer of light piercing through the vent above. I felt water slowly climbing up my feet as I struggled to break the chains that held me. The chains wouldn't budge. They were too tight. I noticed a set of tools, but they were just out of reach. I looked around for what felt like ages to find any sort of object that could help guide me to the tools. That's when I noticed a stick had happened to be close by. I took it and began to use it to attempt to pull the tools closer. As I tried to hook the tools on the stick and push them closer, the door opened and PewDiePie came in. He was riding Jorgen, and Sven was right behind him. He said in his sexy Swedish accent, "It's time for you to play Tuber Simulator." My breath was taken away by this beautiful Swedish trio. I began to carefully climb onto Jorgen, making sure not to harm the majestic creature. We rode off into the sunset, but then Pewds took a turn and we entered his Minecraft home and lived happily ever after. That's the story. Now, it's time I tell you the secrets. The cool thing that the final 3 are getting is cool icons. Well, I don't make them. They choose their own icons. They will be personifying them through the rest of STeller. They also get to choose the background STeller image for the episodes. Isn't that amazing? Or the background STeller color. Also, I'm going to stop doing the cool percentile over timeline graph. 1, it spoils results too fast, creating no suspense. And 2, it takes a long time to make, and I don't have time to spend that long for a simple graph. Now, to reveal who got first. Oh, and by the way, Mr. Brand used a clone if it wasn't obvious enough. Let's see how this affected him. Now, in first place is the one, the only, Clone! Nice work, Clone, but you don't actually count. It must suck to see your clone response do the best, but this submission really added suspense and hope to the story. In second place is, oh my gosh, no way, the clone creator himself. Congrats on getting double first place, that's amazing. Now since we know you'll be in the final 3, I'll let you choose the background for the next STeller episode first as a reward. Anyway, this was a pretty good start to the story. You had a basic conflict and you made it so people could add to the story. It was very good. Now, in third place is Angel, who made the ending. She was forced to make the ending about PewDiePie because of the previous sentences, but that didn't stop Angel from making a happy, nice ending. Now, we have 2 contestants left. I'm Chuck, who made the short sentences, and Sold Snake, who made the PewDiePie twist. Who will be safe? Well, in fourth place with 40.38% is Sold Snake 123, who made a huge twist with the story and suddenly let PewDiePie save the person in the story. But this does mean that in fifth is I Am Chuck, who made the shortest, most generic sentence in the story. Considering the amount of times you've wanted to eat inanimate objects, I'm Chuck, I'm surprised you've lasted this long. But if you want to win STeller, you're gonna have to be more creative than this. You can't just be making these generic sentences. But that's okay. Everyone learns from their mistakes. Your badge is called Verge of Death. Throughout these rounds, I'm Chuck, you've been second and third to last because of some of your submissions. But the thread that you were hanging on has broke, and now you are gone. May you rest in peace. But now we have our 3 finalists. Magical Mile. No way, I just said Magical Miles. Magical Miles. Angel, Solid Snake, and Brandon. You guys get to pick or make icons for yourself that represent yourself, so choose wisely. You also get to choose background colors for the videos. Isn't that exciting? But not only that, but you all get +5 little Luigi points for making it this far. Isn't that amazing? Now you'll be respected by so many people. Now viewers, I know you're begging for some community interaction, so you guys get to vote on who's your favorite contestant in the comments below. Which one of these people do you think is coolest or will win? Who are you rooting for? Let me know. I will reveal the votes in the next episode. Okay guys, you might maybe be wondering what the heck is this background. Well, Mr. Brandon told me to put a bunch of this image as the background. I found it really hard to put the logo on it, but I've done it and it looks great. Now, all the contestants have given me icons that are beautiful and will be representing them from now on. And here they are. First, here is Brandon's. We can see a very handsome man proving us that he is loyal by promoting his SoundCloud in the top left. Very humble. Next is Angel's icon. As you can see, we have a hip MLG gamer. Mafia boss, better watch out. Lastly, we have Solid Snake's icon, which is or whatever this thing is. Anyways, for this round there was no topic. The contestants could write about anything they want. They each got 3 sentences and I made a submission too to make the story big enough. I can't believe STeller is almost already over. That's insane. Now let's take a look at a few stats before we go. All the alive contestants are slowly rising above the dead, but will they ever pass Cormanil? Time to read this amazing story. Me and my family are taking a road trip to the Grand Canyon when suddenly our car breaks down in the middle of nowhere. While we're trying to fix up the car, these group of shady people start walking towards us. My dad kept a hidden gun in the car just in case emergencies like this happen. As every step they took came closer to us, I started to notice these people approaching us all had guns concealed. I tried to warn my family about the group coming up, but they were all distracted fixing the car. I ran to find the gun in the car with my heart practically racing straight out of my chest. I opened the trunk of our Toyota 2000, my hands shaking. I grabbed the gun, hardly able to uphold my grip. Why couldn't we have just gone to Legoland instead? Ugh, never mind that. Sweat and anxiety was spreading through my body like a virus. I turned around fast just to see 5 tall men in black standing in front of me with a wide smirk on every one of their wrinkled faces. I swiftly clicked the biggest one down and held him at gunpoint. When I realized they weren't holding guns at all, they were water guns. The guys looked at me with horror in their eyes and I immediately apologized and said I thought they were gonna harm us. They said, "We thought you were hot in this Arizona sun, so we thought we could have a water gun fight." I accepted and we spent the entire afternoon squirting each other away. And that's the story. Today's STeller background was given by Angel. It's pretty insane. Today, we will be seeing who gets to be in the final 2. Our contestants didn't get a topic this time, so they could talk about anything, but I did also give a submission in the story. In other news, I accidentally missed STeller's half birthday. STeller has been going on for 6 months and 29 days. July 21st was STeller's half birthday, and I just missed it. Okay, let's look at some fan art. We actually only have one from Maxfecto. Look at this amazing drawing. Luigi needs filler, so I made this despite promising to make no more fan art until the end. We have some amazing drawings of Maxfecto. Hello, I'm Maxfecto and I'm dyed and I Mac fan art for STeller and am secretly Cornman Yell and very good at grammar. We have me. We got Dragonfire here, Cool Gaming K1000, we got Butter, and we got Salt Snack and Lumina, which they're just looking amazing in these pictures. Thanks for the fan art, Maxfecto. Of course, we can't have a STeller episode without epic stats, and I got new ones for you guys. It's so exciting. I've calculated the views, likes, dislikes, comments, and length of all my STeller videos. Obviously, the brighter the color, the more it is. As you can see, the video with the most views is my join video. And for some reason, the explanation video didn't get a lot, but 1.1 did. And then it looks like it slowly declined. And luckily, I've made a graph for all these so we can actually see. It does seem to go up on 0.1 videos, like there's a zigzag pattern. But the line of fit, which is like the average, is going down. So, oh no, I'm losing views. I'm like literally crying. I'm so sad. Next, we got likes, which really don't matter, but whatever. I'll just calculate that too. And let's pull up the graph here and we can see it. I don't think it's really changed. I've never got less than 4 likes, which is pretty exciting. And my highest is 9 likes. It really just seems very random when I get likes. I also have dislikes. There's only one video with a dislike, and that was the Stellar Theory Cormaneal exposing video, but the graph isn't very exciting. We also have comments over time. Obviously, I'm going to have a lot more comments in episodes where you can vote. So there's also going to be a zigzag pattern here. Let's get the graph up here. You can see comments have actually been going up, so that's good. Keep commenting and engaging with Stellar, guys. But yeah, you can see that zigzag pattern with the 0.1 episodes. And last but not least, length, which is my favorite. My longest video was 726 seconds. It was 12 minutes long, and it was the exposing Cormaneal and Max Specto video. If we look at the chart here, we can see that it gradually increased until that episode, and then it's really gone kind of down ever since. My videos have been staying pretty short, which is why I need filler like this to make them longer. But my shortest video is actually my join video, which I did not expect. Okay, now I'm finally done with these stats. Thanks Max Spector for the suggestion. I loved making this. So without any wait, let's just get straight into these results. Now, our amazing one and only contestant that got first place with 63.89% is Angel with the second to last sentence. Her sentence had a joke about going to Legoland, but barely advanced with the plot, except people liked it anyway. Angel, you win 5 Little Luigi points. Now, we have Little Luigi, Brandon, and Sold Snake to fight for who doesn't get eliminated, except not me. Well guys, in second place is none other than the one and only Brandon is safe. His sentence was all plot and no funny business, which may have lowered his score, but sticking to making an actual story is a pretty good strategy. But this does mean Sold Snake came out on the bottom. Let's see if he passed up Little Luigi. Looks like they tied kind of, but Sold Snake lost due to standard deviation. He most likely got last because of the unexpected twist that was just that they wanted to have a water gun fight, which is very weird. Voters did not like the unexpected ending and voted him down. But Sold Snake, you do get a cool, amazing badge, and your badge is called Plot Twist for all the plot twists you've made throughout the rounds. What an amazing snake. And for getting third place, you get this amazing custom trophy made by me. This includes plus 10 Little Luigi points and me mentioning you 5 times. Sold Snake, Sold Snake, Sold Snake, Sold Snake. Now we have our finalists to battle out to make an amazing story. You all will get 5 sentences and make 5 submissions for this next story. There will be no topic and I won't be making any submissions. You both have won multiple rounds in the past, so I expect this to be a fair battle. No malicious voting will be allowed and you both won't be able to vote. Only dead contestants and viewers. Who are you guys rooting for? Very Humble or MLG Pro Gamer? Our 2 contestants, Angel and Brandon, have given 5 sentences each to make an amazing story. Before we read that story though, let's check out some data. First of all, I've updated the Stellar Statistics spreadsheet again. I split the data into different tabs so it's easier to analyze. Cormaneal is still the best in percentile, but Brandon and Dragonfire are right behind him. With normalized rank, Cormaneal is still above, but Angel and Max Fecto are behind him. For sentence placement, Butter, Angel, and Dragonfire are closer to the end of the stories, while Max Fecto, I'm Chuck, and Magical Miles are closer to the beginning. Except Miles doesn't count. Let's look at the popularity contest. Cormaneal and Max Fecto are still in the front, but Sailed Snake? Cormaneal and Max Fecto are still in the front, and Sold Snake is right behind him actually because of the Sold Snake montage. Our 2 alive contestants are below them. Angel's in 5th and Brandon is in, 10th? In fact, he's been low in mentions this entire series. Somehow, he's been in the shadows the entire time. What an accomplishment. Lastly, we have the amount of votes I've gotten over time. It looks like they've gone up, which is good. And that's all for statistics. Oh, I forgot to mention that this background is from Sold Snake. Yeah, I don't even know what it is. He also gave me some last words. Let's listen to them. My fellow STeller opponents, I have had the time of my life listening to your guys' creativity. STeller has evolved from a passion project by a crazy man to a whole community of crazy people, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I don't know how or why I got this far, but it's been a fun journey from beginning to end, and for that, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for a good time. Thank you, Soul Snake, and thanks for participating. Thank you, viewers, for watching STeller, and thank you, contestants, for participating in it. It was the first day of college and everyone seemed nervous, but this was the year that I finally left my mark. This was my chance at a fresh start, and honestly, I think I finally know what to do to stand out. The school musical was announced, and being a part of it and showing the world my talent would be a breeze if I got the lead role. I spent hours, days, weeks, years practicing. Okay, maybe not years, but I finally walked up the steps of the auditorium. I knew it was my time to shine. I walked into the audition with a smile on my face for the lead role of Prince Charming. I felt confident, but my nerves began to catch up to me. I couldn't let this chance go. I stared at the audience and took a deep breath, my hands shaking as I could hardly hold the microphone. I can do this. I sang my heart on with every passing verse. The audience started to stand as I felt my heart beating faster. Time stopped. I stood there looking out while the audience stared at me, emotionless. Oh my God, was I really that bad? But then suddenly something happened. The spotlight shifted from me to the crowd as all of them, even the judges for the audition, belted out cheers. My mouth was wide open. I was shocked. I couldn't believe that I actually did this. I finally made my mark, and I can't wait till the whole world knows my name. And that's the story. It is finally time. Welcome to the finale of STeller, the last ever episode of season 1. I can't believe it's finally about to be over. This competition started in, I think, January 21st, 2019. Has it really been 8 months? Hey, at least it didn't take as long as, wow, am I right, guys? Trust me, when I started this, I didn't expect it to actually work. Remember when I sounded like this? Hey, what's up, guys? Little Luigi here, and welcome to the first official STeller episode. And the editing was like this: that you hate the second most in the sentence that you hate the most. Now I can make things go woo. Remember when I thought voting most hated and second most hated was a good voting system? Speaking of voting, at first I only got 4 votes for the finale, which was actually sad. But I extended the deadline and I actually got 14 votes instead. Thank you to Jigglypuff, Pokemon, Max Vecto, Lady Molib, Green Bean, Casserole, Dragonfire, Marvel Race Fan, Epic, Mass Rock 9, War Bunny, Vortex, Bristlebrip, Yo-Yo Cake, Yoshi Awesome, and Viscerant for voting for the finale and making results more accurate. I appreciate it. By the way, you all received a Little Luigi point for voting. Let's take a look at our contestants. Brandon, the very humble contestant, and Angel, the MLG Gamer Pro Queen Master. They have such beautiful icons. They also both submitted 5 sentences. Every sentence in the story alternates who submitted the sentence, so they both started or ended the story. There was no topic, so they had to come up with one on their own, and it looks like they chose like college, some audition or something. So here's how results will work. The contestant who wrote the best sentence overall wins, so you don't have to rely on the S sentences you wrote. If you wrote all great sentences but the other contestant made 4 bad sentences, but a sentence greater than your sentence, then they would win. I'll be going through results backwards, so we'll look at the worst first and then go up to the best. If you get second place, you will receive a custom-made trophy, a badge, and 50 Little Luigi points. The contestant who wins will receive 1,000 Little Luigi points, which is so much that they will become my #1 fan instantly. They will also get a custom-made trophy, a badge, and a shout-out. Now, let's get started on results. On screen, it will show how many times left each contestant will have to be revealed to be eliminated. So right now, if I reveal Brandon or Angel's sentence 5 times before we see the best sentence, they are dead. Now, the worst sentence in the entire story is from Brandon, who wrote C. I personally don't think this was his worst sentence, but it just advanced the plot a bit, so it was kind of boring. Don't worry though, you had 4 other sentences. And second to last, or 9th place, is Brandon again. Uh-oh, not looking good. It's an okay sentence, it just establishes the fact that he's nervous though. And 8th place is Angel, your first submission on results so far. Honestly, the sentence could be put in any context and probably still makes sense, which is probably why it was voted lower. In 7th place is Angel. Now you guys are tied. This sentence had a bit of humor, which some voters like, but others didn't. It's one of the more controversial sentences, which is probably why I got 7th. In 6th place is Angel again. This sentence, in my opinion, is pretty good, except for that random comma you put to disguise the fact that you practically made 2 sentences. In 5th place is Angel. Uh-oh, that's not good. Only 1 reveal left before you're gone. This was the end to the story. The sentence before already provided the ending, kind of, so this just added a bit to it. But it's good nonetheless. Now, let's see if this next rank determines our winner. In 4th place is Brandon. Angel is safe for now. This sentence felt like an ending to the story that came 1 sentence earlier, but it was a pretty good way to end it, even though it's predictable. Now, Brandon has 2 left, and Angel has 1. Well, whose third reveal who wins? Well, in 3rd place is Brandon again. Wow, you guys are tied with 1 sentence left. Wait, the starting sentence got this high, but all it says was, I'm scared for my first day of college, which is probably the most generic start to a story ever. You voters are a bit weird, but I'm pretty sure Brandon made this because it's hashtag relatable. Now, to determine the winner. The next person I say will be eliminated and get 2nd place overall. In 2nd place, the person who's the 2nd best is Angel in 2nd place. Time stopped. I stood there looking out while the audience stared at me, emotionless. Oh my god, was I really that bad? But then suddenly something happened. I cannot believe the something happened sentence got so high, but I guess voters ignored the something happened part. This does add a lot of tension and suspense to the story, so I see why voters voted it high. This was a super close round actually, because a tiny bit of percentile above yours is Brandon's sentence. I sang my heart on with every passing verse. The audience started to stand as I felt my heart beating faster. This is a really good sentence that gives hope to the readers that this person is doing amazing. Great job, Brandon. You won Season 1 of STeller, which means you win 1,000 Little Luigi points. The only person that has come close to that level of wealth is CG3K, who is my #1 original fan, who has over 500 Little Luigi points. But this does mean that you're now the #1 Little Luigi fan. Congratulations. You also received this custom-made first place trophy. Look how beautiful it is. And you also receive a shout out for a channel you don't upload on. So everyone go subscribe to the Gaming Core and Brandon the Stick, link in the description. I will say your badge later. Angel, you were 2nd place, so you get 50 Little Luigi points, which is still a lot. You also get a custom made 2nd place trophy, and your badge is Overthrower, or Overthrow, because you won the round that Cormanil died in, and you took over Max Pecto and Cormanil after they died, and became the new contestant that was doing really good. And now you almost took over Brandon, who was doing really good as well. And Brandon, your badge is Hiding in the Shadows. It's hiding for short. This is because this entire competition, you were in the bottom 4 for the popularity contest almost the entire time. At one point, you were the least popular pretty far into the competition. That's pretty hard to pull off. No one really knew who you were until the top 3. That's pretty cool if you ask me, so congratulations on your badge, Brandon. I had both contestants send their last words and winning words just in case. Here's Angel's last words before dying. Subscribe to me and get me to 2,000 subscribers, thank you. Wow, truly inspirational. Great job, Angel. And for Brandon, his winning words are, haha, me win. Take notes, Season 2 STeller contestants, because if you want to win, you have to be a genius like this man, Brandon. Very good job, Brandon and Angel. Thank you for participating in STeller. And now that I have all the badges given out, I can show off the contestants' extra badges they received. Here's an example of one. Brandon's extra badge was consistency because his standard deviation percentile was very low. Cormaneal, by the way, did not get any extra badges. What a nerd! Angel got standing tall because she was the first and last sentence 4 times in total. She also got drained because she was top 3 the last 5 rounds but died in this round. And she also got forced because she got first, last round and died this round. What the heck? My voice just died there for a second. Dragonfire got drained because he was top 2 3 times before he died. Maxfecto got ouchies because he died with around 5%, which is super low, lower than Luna's percentile. Salt Snake gets consistency for his standard deviation of percentiles being low, and the same for CG3K, except he also gets Overthrower from winning the round where Cormaneal died. I'm Chuck got plot twist for making unexpected sentences where he tries to eat inanimate objects. He also gets short sentences for making short sentences. Poor Logan Avery got no extra badges, but Butter got slept time for dying because he didn't freaking submit after he was revived. Magical Miles also got short sentences for making short sentences, and lastly, Luna got short sentences because of her short toothbrush sentence. If you're curious, here are the badge requirements. Let's go in depth on all our Stellar contestants and how they did. Let's go in alphabetical order. At first, Angel isn't doing that great, but she slowly learned and got all the way to 2nd place. She died due to stage fright though. No one really knew about Brandon, as we said before. He was in the shadows, and no one knew who he was until top 3. He was doing okay at first, and got better over time as well, and eventually won the competition. But Butter was a part of the winners for the first round, but then suddenly died on the second one. He battled against Logan Avery to be revived, and won, but he slept when he was supposed to give a sentence and died, killed by Darth Vader. CG3K didn't have faith in himself, but he made it all the way to round 7 right after he murdered Maxfecto with power-ups. He was killed by a biker gang. Cormaneal was doing well from the start due to illegal voting technique, but he died suddenly on round 5 after he spent so much energy making good sentences, and he died from a giant tsunami. Next up is Dragonfire, who wasn't doing really well until he learned from his mistakes and got second 3 times in a row, but died on round 8 by being crushed by a disco ball. I'm Chuck was a bit of a weirdo. He tried to eat inanimate objects like a lot and somehow was surviving so many rounds up until round 9 when he died from being chained to the wall until he starved. Logan Avery lasted only 4 rounds and her sentences were pretty short, but she inspired the Logan Avery format where you let the next contestant finish your sentence for you. She had a dodgeball hit her in the face, causing her to die from brain damage. Luna said she fricked me with a toothbrush and left. Nobody liked it and almost everyone voted it down. She actually got stuck in a time vortex and can't get out. Mafia Boss made some okay starts and endings to stories, but his boring ending got him killed when he was shot by Maddox. Magical Miles submitted a sentence about traveling through time, but he never woke up from his nap and died in a coma. Maxfecto was Cormaneal's buddy, who also used illegal ways to get high on the results, but was murdered by CG3K on round 6. He died of debt from gambling his money away. Lastly, Salt Snake gave us some plot twists throughout these rounds. Unfortunately, he died from drowning from water and water guns that were shot at him. Tragic. And that's all of the contestants. Now we can have so much fun looking at more of the statistics. As you can see, Cormaneal's never been overthrown in average percentile. What a legend. Brandon, our winner, becomes next because he just won. Then Angel because she was just second. But then Dragonfire is 4th overall because he was doing so well before he died. Next is Maxfecto, one of the top contestants whose average percentile plummeted because of his 5% score. Our 3rd place Salt Snake is 6th overall in percentile and below average apparently. Next is CG3K, who used to be doing really bad, but he climbed up the leaderboard. Next is I'm Chuck, then Logan Avery, who died pretty early, then Butter, who got 4th, so he isn't as low as you think he would be. Then we have Magical Slept Time, who died so fast, Mafia Boss, who was 2nd to worst, and of course, Luna. Let's take a look at standard deviation. Mafia Boss is still the most controversial. Logan Avery and Butter are also pretty controversial. Cormaneal as the least controversial because everyone voted him up all the time, and Maxfecto and Brandon were also not controversial. If you look at the ranks, you can see Brandon and Angel making a zigzag pattern for wins. Cormaneal, Solznick, and Max Fecto actually have the average highest rank. For percentile, it's pretty pointless, but Brandon has the highest percentile when you add up all his percentiles. For normalized rank, Cormaneal, of course, is doing best, but Angel is second, surprisingly. Then Max Fecto is third, and then we see Brandon. On the other side, it's mostly normal, except for maybe CG3K. If we take a look at word count, we can see how many words were typed up by our contestants in total, and the average words typed up for each sentence. Cormaneal, of course, had the most words, but surprisingly, Mafia Bus is high up there, and also I'm Chuck made some pretty short sentences. It's kind of the same thing for character count, except Angel went above Mafia Boss, and this is the total amount of characters each contestant typed up. Here's everyone's letters and all around. It's not that exciting, but the placement one is. We can see Butter, Angel, Dragonfire, and even Solid were closer to the end in most stories, and that Brandon, I'm Chuck, and definitely Max Fecto were closer to the beginning most of the time. And that's all for stats. Let's see all the fan art I've gotten for STeller. My first fan art was from Solid Snake. I'm not sure what it has to do with STeller, but it was cool. Second one was this beautiful drawing by CG3K. It was of Max Fecto poisoning himself. Max Fecto then made a meme about him being stabbed by 3 people and being spared by 3 people. Dragonfire made fan art of him being mentioned a bunch of times. Max Fecto drew Dragonfire in his weird style and also made me in his style. Max Fecto also made a funny meme about CG3's death and a bagel man. I made Red Fecto, which is Max Fecto but red, and I fixed Max Fecto's meme from earlier. Chain Chomp Braided showed a Marshu and Luigi combination. What does this have to do with STeller? Max Fecto made me big. He also drew him reading the first ever story with his signature knife hanging over the fireplace and also his old Discord username in the trash. Max Fecto made another meme of Dragonfire about to be killed by me and also me very angry. Dragonfire made a cool video of him dying, and CG3K drew me being very low quality. Lastly, Max Fecto made me some filler that I could include in my STeller episode because it wasn't long enough. Thanks to everyone who drew fan art, I loved it. Now that the video is about to end, let's look at the popularity contest. I actually don't know what the final results for the popularity contest is. I'll update it when I'm editing the video, but I'm assuming that Cormaneal and Mr. Max Fecto will still be at the top. But if anyone has gone up a lot or dropped, that would be super cool. Sorry if you're not popular. We're approaching the actual end to the video, so I just want to say thanks to all of you, especially you contestants for deciding to join this competition. Even though Luna didn't really plan on staying, it's still cool she joined. Thanks for taking time to write the sentences for this competition. Thanks to anyone who has ever voted. Your votes made results more accurate to the public opinion. Thank you viewers for watching this series so I have a community to interact with. Well, it's time for the outro. This one's pretty cool and very long, like around 4 minutes, so maybe it's not actually an outro, but actually a cool end credit video, so you should probably watch it and not just skip it. So yeah, watch the outro. Okay, see you guys in STeller Season 2. Bye! Crag Slay, Job, Dragonfire, Max Fecto, Kermaniel, Butter, and Sold Snake 123 for not getting any hate points. Criminal H Crag Slay. Hey, what's up guys? Little Luigi, welcome to 12. As to why Max Fecto and Cornmeal did so terrible all of a sudden. Well, this is my stellar theory, guys. He fricked me with a toothbrush, which had nothing to do with the story. But sailed snake. But now we have our 3 finalists: Magical Mile,